And welcome to Conservative Talk.
And as the smoke clears from Civil War down in Columbus, we're here to give you the breakdown.
And welcome back to Conservative Talk. My name is Justin.
And this is Jamie.
And as always, I'd like to take a moment to remind our constituents that you must follow Jamie's law in making sure that you are hitting the like button and the share button on any of the content that you do see that we release on any of our platforms, as well as it is required by law, again, to make sure you are hitting the subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date on all of the talking points that Jamie does put out and really know what he's thinking of and really how to run your life via Jamie. We also encourage you to go to our website again at conservativestalk.org and hit that sponsor tab in the upper right hand corner or the lower right hand corner and help us out with what you're able to, because running a dictatorship from within, or at least a shadow dictatorship from within, is expensive. So we do need some help with this. So again, make sure you are hitting that sponsor tab on our website. So, Jamie, let's jump in with your first reminder.
Boycott hometown headlines. Don't forget it. We're almost there. We got to get liberal media out of here, and it starts with you boycotting hometown headlines.
Yes, absolutely. So we also want to take a quick moment to thank our affiliates, and our first one being Net News Network. So you can find Net News Network on the internet at netnewsnetwork.net. Essentially what it is a grassroots compilation of multiple on-the-ground broadcasters that really bring you a very firsthand perspective of things going on in their local areas. So make sure you are looking for Net News Network at netnewsnetwork.net. We also want to say a quick thank you again to Veterans for America First. This is the premier America First policy organization where they will only put forward America First policies and only push those who are promoting the America First policy agenda. And they really do a lot of that work through their media arm, and that being Vet Voice. So make sure you are looking for Vet Voice on every social media platform. So Jamie, how about it? Let's clear off the lenses and break down, or at least give our thoughts and opinions on what happened this past weekend.
Yeah, so as the smell of gunpowder is still in the air, as the smoke is clearing off the battlefield,
still have a ringing cannons in my ear.
Yeah, ringing cannons in the ear. You know, I think it was a stiff, great competition. It was a good internal campaign, especially for chair, and Josh McCoon came out the victor.
Absolutely. It started off a little. I say a little. It started off on the extremely slow side, but after the keynote speaker there, it really kind of picked up and moved forward a lot. There was a good bit of back and forth there to begin with, but I think that was due to the excitement in the air of Trump coming and speaking.
Yeah, I think that was it too. I think it was the largest convention we had. I think it topped out with first entry around like 2,500 or so people. Then I know a lot of guests left after President Trump spoke.
Several of the delegates left after he spoke.
That too. Then we finally were able to get into the business at hand. And it was I think it was a good battle. I
do too.
I think and I think the most impressive thing at the end was that all three candidates got up there and stood hand in hand and said, everybody wants to run their own news, everybody wants to do their own thing, and surely we engaged in our own version of it. But at the end of the day, the Georgia GAGOP is going to stand together, and we're all going to help to make sure that we continue to be successful.
Yeah, it's much like a family reunion. We all came in swinging, but we're all going out smiling.
Yeah, I mean, like when my cousins show up to play football on Thanksgiving Day, I don't like them either. You know what I mean? But at the end of it, while we're all eating turkey and throwing a little dressing on there, we're all good to go.
Well, you have to stand there for the family portrait, which, again, an analogy for the general election moving forward with this. So we have to stand there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Josh is going to do really good. We just got to keep pushing the pedal forward. I know a lot of people wanted to see a different style, but I think this is the right moment for the right time. Some people believe that the party was a little bit further in some things. Some people thought that the party was moving too fast in other areas, and I think that Josh McCoon will be a good balance in between that, leading forward.
Yes. So outside of some of the elections, kind of something I wanted to get your thoughts on, just simply because I have and the only reason why I'm bringing this up because
Josh is
I
about
have
to put me on the spot.
a funny irony saying to say with this, and that's the reason why I'm asking this. But what were your thoughts on the clickers? Useful, not useful?
I think they were useful. Okay. Here's kind of my thought on the clickers, right? There are a lot of conversation about trying to go to paper ballots for this.
Oh no.
Right. And I think that could have been the most awful thing we ever did, because we're talking about, in some of these races, especially like for chair, was multiple rounds. So you want to go back and count. What was
over 2,000
over
ballots.
2,000 ballots by hand, and you know what I mean, and then do that twice, right? Because then you had the runoff. I think that it's very interesting that certain groups were very upset about using the clickers, but I mean, like, how else did you expect? I mean, it was real time. Like, it was the fastest way we could do it.
Yeah, the results were quicker based on those clickers than any other method outside of a landslide standing vote.
Yeah. And then, but see, here's the thing: the people who wanted paper ballot. Here's the thing that really got me. The people who wanted the paper ballots were the same ones who didn't want to do the standing vote because they felt that they wouldn't be seen. But I don't know what the balance is, because there was more chance of your ballot getting lost if it was a piece of paper in a convention like that than it would be of you not being seen from standing up. And then at the same time, like, all you had to do was stand there and press the button and wait for the thing to go green. If it didn't go green, move up till it goes green. It's not hard.
Yeah, there were some concerns because with some of the radio frequency transponders that were there, they weren't close enough to be able to pick up on some of those. But again, they cleared it up. Just take a step forward and move within range of it, and you're good to go. Although, and here's my funny statement: I did find it ironic that they were asking us to do a standing vote to vote on whether or not to use the clickers.
I know. I thought that was funny too. But here's my thing, right? If and look, I'm Protestant by faith, okay? So I don't mean anything by this. But I mean,
do I need to put out the content logo or the content warning logo?
If a couple thousand 80-year-old Presbyterians can get together to use this because we're using their system to make a vote, I'm pretty sure it's good for the GAGOP. And the fact that people are like, well, I mean, we even had like the head of the Presbyterian Church in Georgia come explain how to use the clickers.
Who's a parliamentarian, by the way?
Who's a parliamentarian? And people were upset. I'm like, what, guys? Like, it's not that hard. They're going to show you a letter or a number. Press the button. If the light doesn't go green, move away from the column that's blocking you from the receiver, or take a couple steps up till the light goes green. And then that's it.
You know, it wasn't like there were hundreds of votes that were going on. It was,
one at a time.
Yeah, and there was a good 15 to 20 minutes between each vote, so it's not like it would be that strenuous. Someone did bring up the point, a handicapped individual not being able to move forward, and apparently there was one in their delegation. Okay, I can understand that, but at the same time, you could take that person and move them a little further up into another area outside of where their county was or their delegation was.
100%. That's the thing that gets
you can't stop a moving
I sympathize, but I don't empathize. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a penny cannot hold up a dollar.
Yep. And whether you like the results or not, this is what it is. And we have to stand tall together. But fighting over the clicker was the dumbest thing I ever saw.
Yeah, it was. But folks have their beliefs and they have their ingrained opinions, and we're all entitled to it, and we're all entitled to the fight.
And I really don't want to go down this rabbit hole because
Uh-oh.
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, guys, like, you think we're going to be, they want to go back to an election day. Okay. But want to go back to paper ballots.
No, that'll never happen.
So how are we supposed to count 5 million ballots in a day when we're having a hard time counting the audits in a day? I don't understand. Whatever.
With the potential of it being 10 million ballots in a day.
Nope.
Because there are 10 million residents in the state of Georgia.
10 million residents.
More than 10 million residents.
Yep.
So you have to
10 million that will be eligible to vote in 5 years at the same time. Once you have a couple generations like hit over 18. Plus plus the longest generation, the oldest generation is living longer. We have a potential of up to 10 million people within the next 2 to 3 cycles.
Yeah, it's paper ballots are something now that are let's go and be frank with it. They're just not going to work ever.
Well,
not for where we're going and where we're heading.
Yeah, and again, I gotta get out of this rabbit hole for too long. But what kind of paper ballots do you want? Do you want us to put? Do you want to write in? Do you want hanging chads again? I don't know if any of you remember 2000, but but you know what I mean. Like one of my favorite presidents of all times, but he literally bullied his way into the office because when it came down to a bunch of paper ballots and his brother being
had to say on that one.
You know what I mean? And the fact that like his dad helped appoint some of the Supreme Court justices, his brother was governor of the state that still had the. Kudos, because I'd bully my way into it too. But you get what you get when you get paper ballots. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Exactly. and we have seen before in the past that paper ballots, quite frankly, can be. It's the same methods of cheating can still be used with paper ballots, without a doubt. I mean,
the method of cheating that got Joe Biden into office was because of the paper part.
Exactly. Not
That's
just
the thing.
that, but a lot of our local elected officials here in Northwest Georgia, they experienced election fraud because of paper ballots. And this was 20, 25 years ago, if not longer.
That's the thing that really, I'm still mind boggled about this. How do you honestly argue with a straight face wanting to do away with absentee ballots, but want to keep paper ballots? Because essentially they're the same thing. The only difference is with absentee ballots, you're stuffing them in a box that's outside now, not outside, but in in a secure location, versus someone just turning multiple of them in behind a closed door that you would never know.
Or just showing up with a box of ballots.
Yes. Yeah, so, I'll harvest these and no one will ever know. Whatever.
Exactly. Well, hey, it happened.
Bless their heart.
And we're on the other side of it now.
Bless their heart.
But again, so Josh McCoon did win chairman for the GAGOP, and we do wish him the best of luck and really moving the state party forward, because we're heading into an election cycle that, quite frankly, will define the character and trajectory of our country. And because Georgia being one of the most influential states, not both business-wise, economic-wise, and population-wise, because we're within the top 10 states in the entire nation as far as population-wise goes. So we do have a very significant role to play in the upcoming election cycle.
Yeah, we're the key to the South. His role is going to be very important. And for those of you who already asked me, I have reached out to him, and we're going to try to schedule something for the new chairman to come to Floyd County.
Outstanding. So, again, we want to say congratulations, Josh McCoon, and we do wish you the best of luck in moving forward with this. And we do hope that everything works and we're really able to make things to where we can be successful in 2024.
Yep.
So after the chairman election, there were several others that took place. The first the election for first vice chair was also a bit of a nail biter. It was. It went to essentially a runoff.
It did. It did. You had long-term GOP member BJ Van Gundy. A candidate that we actually endorsed on the show, Marcy McCarthy, and then you had Brian Pritchard. And after a couple rounds, the radio host and the owner of Fetcher News has kind of emerged as the first vice chair.
Don't let him fool you. He referred to him as the radio host with the most.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
But again, we want to say congratulations to Brian Pritchard in becoming the GAGOP first chair. And again, we want to wish the best of luck moving forward and really being able to carry out the agenda to where Georgia is successful in 2024. And then it comes down to the second chair.
This one was interesting.
It was. This one right here was that. I'll be honest with you. This one kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
This one 100% caught me off guard. And I'm just gonna say it. If you watch the show, you know that this was kind of a big controversy with us, and even during the vote, though. But during the vote, we were able to make friends because. So you know what else? I will say this. You know what I find ironic? Okay,
what's that?
And it really didn't dawn on me until it happened. But Brent Frost and the Frost family are from Coweta County. I was born in Coweta County. Then got involved.
So that explains a lot.
they got involved in politics in Floyd County, though. And I just thought it was funny that even after all of this, they set both of our counties together. And more than acquaintance, almost friends came afterwards. So it was.
That was interesting. We went into it with the and it was on both sides that we went into it with the belief that we would not see eye to eye on quite a few things, but by the end of the convention, or at least by the time everyone was leaving, frankly, we were trying to set up times when we could all get together and
vet it out.
Yeah, which is good. And I do believe, again, we had spent the past several months talking about how people need to get involved in conventions because you can make connections, you can build those relationships, and you can really foster a lot of things on that nature. And we kind of proved our own point there.
Yeah. If you know Justin and I, you know that the motto is "May the bridges we burn light the way." But I think this is one bridge that we didn't burn and actually kind of,
thought we burned it, but
added a couple features to it. There was a greater understanding that emerged out of this. Unfortunately, our endorsed candidate and Brent Frost did lose in this, but I think that the win out of this camaraderie ship was that we realized that methodologies may be different, but ideologies and values of conservatism are near the same.
I would say that it was very surprising in that nature. But again, David Cross, it's not someone that I'm very familiar with. I've never met him personally. I've never heard him speak. That was at the convention was the first time I'd even heard his voice. But again, we want to say congratulations to Mr. Cross there, and again, wishing him the best luck in moving forward and really carrying the state of Georgia into 2024, and hoping that we are able to be as solid and to really put forward as much as possible to where Georgia is the reigning state in the South.
Yeah, I'm interested to get to know Mr. Cross better because he brought the Gwinnett delegation through, and they were stronger than they had been in previous years, and so.
Well, I'll say even our delegation was completely full. That's the first time that's
ever
happened that I'm aware of.
I am so proud. Like not to not to brag on my team for a minute, but I am so proud of the Floyd County Republican Party. This is the first time, and if you, I went at convention a couple years ago, one of the few that I've missed. If you were, I mean, we had less than half of our normal delegation in attendance at last convention, and this year we had more than enough delegates and alternates to where we still had 2 on the bench once we filled every seat. That's never happened, and that all goes back to the level of involvement that all our constituents want to be involved in. That goes back to my board being prepared. I think every member of my board was actually there present. I mean, we had we had a good majority of the delegation kind of really just hanging and spending time out together all at once, to the point to where, you know, Justin got in, and I'm calling with the majority of the delegation like in line with me trying to get through security. So it's
I had a special treatment with that one because we had a special VIP coming through us for that one, so I got
in a little early.
But anyway, congratulations, Mr. Cross, and we look forward to seeing what the improvements that you can make with what you're wanting to do with the party. And as a matter of fact, we should really reach out to him and get him
see
on
if he
the
wants to
show
come on
and talk to him a little bit more and kind of get an idea and a mindset of where he would like to take the party with this. So moving on to the next one, the next one being the secretary position. Carolyn Jeffords did win that one. She won it fairly handedly, which is great. She's going to do great things in that position.
Yeah, I was really excited to see her win. Got a chance to talk to her afterwards. She's really excited. I think she's going to do a great job as our secretary. And, you know, all the things that she said on the show, I think that we're going to do a great job pushing forward with her.
Absolutely. So congratulations, Ms. Jeffords. And as I've said before, we look forward to seeing what you're going to do with this newly elected position with that. So moving to the next one, we do have a new treasurer as well, and that being Lori McLean. And I apologize for messing up with that one, but again, every time I say that name, I think of Die Hard. So I'm imagining her crawling through the air ducts in a big bank building, saying "Yippee-ki-yay!" So it's a Die Hard reference.
I think of Lightning McLean.
Who's that?
Oh God! Don't worry about it.
I'm not okay. But that was also a very good and tight race. It was something that or it was a vote that frankly mirrored a lot of the other ones as well.
Yeah, I think Lori's going to do a great job. She's
a CPA. She's got the qualifications for it. So,
and we ran out of time to reach out to. I know there were a few people who were trying to reach out to us, but with the way that we scheduled the show and with everything else leading up to convention, it just wouldn't work. So maybe, you know, we can see if we can't find a time the next couple of weeks, try to get her on.
Yeah, absolutely. I would really like to hear from her more on that one.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next one, that being the assistant secretary, Miss Susie Voiles did win that election. I think Miss Voiles is going to do well with that. She is someone who is incredibly passionate about what she believes in. She's someone who takes a very strong stance on what she believes in. So I think she'll do well with that.
I agree.
So with that, again, congratulations, Miss Voiles, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to do with this position. And of course, the last position on the executive board there for the state party, being assistant treasurer, and Miss Jeannie Ekman took that one to the House. I don't really know much about Miss Ekman there. It is a significant role. It is an important role, but at the same time, you know, we do look forward to seeing what she's going to do with it. Although, kind of a funny story, the word on the street is, and so a little bit about this election here. It came down to being decided by one vote, it was 829 to 828. So it was the narrowest of margins. It was literally your vote mattered in this.
Yeah, there was
election.
there was never
Jamie
more
knows what I'm gonna
proof.
say. That's why I laughed at that.
There's never more proof of your vote mattering than this one particular election, and you could see it on the screen. And I think that was so telling to not only the atmosphere of the room, but just how contested, how great this whole season has been. When you can look up on a screen and like literally everybody's like, oh my God, that's one number off, because it's rare that you see that.
Yes,
I've only seen that one other time, in a vote, and it was to have a liquor store in Wall Vegas, and Wall Vegas is where I went to college, and they have now distilled spirits because of that one vote. It was 35 to 36 in the hometown.
So anyone. So in all honesty, this actually goes 100% to show that if you sit a vote out, the outcome of that election is your fault.
Yep. This is why you cannot sit out an election. This is why, I mean, we've been talking about this as part of the reason why we started the show. You know, you go back to why we have 2 Democrat senators in the state of Georgia. It's because people sat out at the election.
Yes. And I know we're talking about someone else potentially wanting with this. We're not arguing for or against this. We're simply expressing the importance of voting with this on this.
Yeah.
And
but
that especially goes for state representatives, especially ones that, from the word on the street, playing around with their clickers there, audibly saying, I accidentally voted for the wrong one on that one. But
they did a 10-second countdown, bro.
Yeah. Come on.
Like they literally said 10, 9, 8.
Well, they said 10 seconds and then they counted down from 5.
Yeah, okay. Still,
they gave a 5-minute pause there, or 5-second pause.
You still had 10-second countdown. Were you doing this the entire time? Were you just going back and forth?
and they weren't sitting in the back of the room, so they were well within range.
It's funny, but I mean, but here, again, like we started the show off with,
it does make me wonder what he's doing with his voter card while he's in the house.
We're only saying this because we're friends.
We can say this because we know who it is.
Yeah,
and
we think it's funny.
We're giving them a hard time. They know who they are.
But I think this is also good because, you know, we had also, I think one of the things that's telling, and I'll lead into this with this, is that we had a lot of new people that this was their first convention ever. And I think that it's good to have humor and laughter about this, because those of us who've been around for a while know that just like any campaign, we get heated when it comes to state convention because we're also passionate. We're also passionate about our candidates. But one thing that we are good about is that we're family. And so when it's over, we could be like, why'd you do that? Or like, you know, like, yeah, that wasn't the person I initially picked, but I'm here to support them now that the vote's over, because at the end of the day, we have to continue to push forward conservative values.
Absolutely. And you brought up a good point there. Nearly half of the delegates that were there in that convention, this was their first time attending a convention. And frankly, it was the first time that they've been involved with the party. So I really hope that they stick around and continue to be involved.
Absolutely.
I hope that everyone that attended that convention continue to be involved in really helping push forward the activism that we as the activist party really embody. And that's not just attending meetings, that's getting out, that's going and working and pushing forward candidates and pushing forward getting Republicans elected to office. It's not just enough to attend meetings. You have to actually get out and do the work.
Yeah, this was one of those scenarios that data people like me were just like mind blown, because there's very few times where you can actually punch numbers and your outlier variable is so large that you cannot explain it.
Yes,
and you know what I mean?
Half of the people there were unknowns.
And so usually like people like us who've been doing this for a while, we can be like, oh, okay, well, you know, they got this block or they got this block. And so if I grab this one and this one, then I should be able to compete with my slate. But when you have such a large variable of unknown or first time people that come in, it turns everybody's numbers, and it's great. It's great for the party.
Mhm.
It's great so that people aren't complacent. It's great so that you really can't, I don't want to say project or predict, but it allows for people to really value the system more.
And
Because you can't
understand and
game
learn
the
the
system.
system.
Yeah, because you can't game it. You can't game when you have a large outlier like that.
Yes, and again, what you were touching on there, I am happy that a new set of people came in, saw how these things are done. They learned a lot about the convention process, and I do hope that they continue to really be involved with their local parties and again pushing forward the Republican agenda. I hope it so much. I would actually say that it should be required, and we'll get to that one later or another day. But again, congratulations to Miss Jeannie. We do wish you well with this, and we want to see that you are going to thrive in this position and really bringing Georgia into or continuing to keep Georgia into its position that it is right now.
Yeah.
So something that happened outside of the convention that day, we do have another over 80,000 caucus chairwoman, and that being our beloved Miss Sally Grubbs.
And Sally.
Oh yeah. She's another one of the ladies out there that if I do something wrong and she looks at me and tells me that she's disappointed in me, it's going to break my heart.
Yeah, it does hurt.
Luckily, I've never said it. She's never had to say it to her.
She just looks at me with a weird eye, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Sally. I didn't
Yeah.
mean that wasn't me. That was JP.
It literally brings me back to when I was 5 and I was running away from Switch with the looks that she gives.
Yeah.
So
That wasn't me, Aunt Sally. That was JP. Don't punish him when he comes back.
we're not going to tell anybody who JP is, but you'd like him if you met him. If you stuck around long enough. But congratulations to Sally, and we really look forward to seeing what you're going to do under your leadership with that chair or with that caucus, because it's not that large of a caucus comparatively to the other ones, but it's frankly the one of the most significant. It
for those of you who
makes
don't know,
up probably more than at least half of the entire voter block of Georgia.
Voter block, yes.
So
for those of you who don't know, there are two major caucuses, and that
population caucuses.
Yeah, that's the over 80,000 and the under 80,000.
Mm-hmm.
So those counties that have over 80,000 people within their county sit in one caucus, and those who have less than 80,000 sit in another. For those of us like myself who are on the over 80, there's 32 of us. And so
out of 159.
Out of 159, there's 32 of us. And in those 32, we make up, a good portion of the majority of voters, period. Not just like voters, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big undertaking to rally to even just get us in the same room. Like, I had 3 parties to go to that day. I was very upset, and there were other functions that they wanted to do, and I was like, can we just please call for the vote so we can get out of here? But because why we're gonna sit down and talk about it, I think everybody's already made up their mind, like, what we're gonna do with the 2 candidates. So let's just get this on.
And now you've met JP.
But yeah, so it's a big undertaking. And I think Sally's going to do well.
And if folks don't fall in line, I foresee a switch in the future. When I say switch, I mean the long stick to tan legs.
Hey, look, I'm not going there that way.
Jamie was he was kind of, he had that little, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
what
switch.
Are you doing, man?
To who?
he I think you may have had a little flashback there too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was a great convention. In all honesty, there was one issue that rang out above any other, and that was an issue that that won every single election or every single one of these elections, and that overarching issue is voter integrity. That was such an important issue and aspect to all of the delegates, or at least the majority of the delegates in each of these elections, that they voted for the candidate that they believed could potentially do the most for voter integrity in the state.
Yeah, and you know, the wave of new people that this was their first, you know, convention, all kind of fits with they were there to try to see what can be done about voter integrity.
They came out, they participated, and they joined because of a singular issue, and that is the voter integrity issue. So that is, again, one of the most important aspects of what the Republicans are wanting within our state, is to make sure that voter integrity is upheld and that we have safe and secure elections. Not that we don't now. We can always do better, but still, that it was at least in my opinion, was the overarching issue that really put some candidates over the top with this.
I concur.
But
with that,
that's Jamie's and I. That is Jamie and I's opinion on, or at least thoughts on, how things went with the state convention. Love them or hate them, that's what they are.
It's the breakdown of the Civil War, and it was a great battle.
It was. We came out bloodied, beaten, and bruising, but we're all going to continue marching towards the same goal.
Yep. It's like church on Sunday during the actual Civil War.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or temple. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway.
Okay, Mason. With that, we do like to remind our constituents out there that you are required under the newly enacted Jamie's Law that you must hit the like button and the share button on any of the productions that we release on any of our platforms, as well as it explicitly says in the law, you must hit subscribe, because you cannot know what you are supposed to do with your life, how you're supposed to do anything without conferring with Jamie first. And the best way to do that is by hitting the subscribe button. It is also incredibly important because you must maintain this regime government that we are working towards to really bolster our reign on the universe by going to our website at conservativestalk.org and hitting that sponsor tab in the upper right-hand corner or in the lower right-hand corner and helping us out with what you're able to, because, again, you will be directly contributing to Jamie's and my takeover of the universe. And we all know you want it, so just do it. We also want to say a quick thank you to our affiliates, and our first one being Net News Network. So make sure you are looking for Net News Network on netnewsnetwork.net. We also want to say a quick thank you to Veterans for America First and their media arm, Vet Voice. So with that, Jamie, how about you give us your final thoughts?
So the first one is, do you remember when what's that guy's name? Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever he calls himself. When he first came out.
Which name change which iteration were you on?
You remember when he had the vote or die?
Yeah.
T-shirts. I want a conservative or die T-shirt. Anyway, but the actual
vote conservative or die.
Vote conservative or
trademark.
Trademark. Yo, it's a Coke. Anyway, the actual final thought is this, guys. We're gearing up for municipal elections. We're gearing up for new House races for Congress. For there's some Senate seats that are going to be up. We got a presidential election coming up. If you are interested in running for office, whether it be for a local government or you want to run for anything but president of the United States at this point, feel free to reach out to us. You can go to our website and go to our little contact page and shoot us a message. We can get you.
Even if you want to run for president, you still do the same.
You can.
Then why not?
You know what I mean? But seriously, feel free to reach out to us. We can get you connected with the right people
Mhm.
and kind of get you started, kind of help you out. Our goal is to make sure that we get as many conservatives in office as we possibly can. And you know, a lot of times the thing with conservatives is we disagree on methodology, but our principles are still the same. And so we just want to make sure that we continue to grow the conservatism movement and get, again, as many people in office across the country as we can. So reach out to us.
Absolutely. And your final thought there gave me a great idea for a show topic in the very immediate future, actually, and that being the potentially that we could see an entirely new set of all 14 U.S. House district seats here in the state of Georgia.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, it's a topic worth bringing up.
Yeah, I know, but it's scary. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, exactly, in the near future. But anyway, this is Conservative Talk, and we will see you soon.